Hi, my name is Abeni, also known as the Crafty Chicky, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to minimize your ends or tails when crocheting. This is by sort of using a weaving in as you go sort of technique. I'm going to show you many different variations using this technique. I actually haven't seen anyone else do this technique. So if you crochet or you know someone who crochets, make sure you show them this video. I think it'd be very helpful for them. Not going to ramble anymore, let's get straight into it. I'm going to show 3 different variations of weaving in as you go. So because this is a circle, the stitches are closer together, therefore it is easier to hide most, if not all, of the tail when you weave in as you go. Whereas on a granny square, when you go, you can see I've already changed colour and there's only one green tail on the end. There's a bit of a tail there. These stitches are further apart on a granny square, so you might only be able to hide a little bit of the tail, which is okay, we can still manage it. However, it's you've just got to adjust how you like it. I personally wouldn't like to see a basically with this yellow tail here, it would have ran through like across this part. I'll show you what I mean in detail when I get to it, but I wouldn't like to see yellow running across on the green surface. And then I'll also show you what happens when we are sewing together 2 items, what would happen with this sort of tail when we're weaving together. If you have watched my previous crochet videos, tutorial videos, you would have seen me touch on this very lightly. This is just a more in-depth video. So I'm going to start with the circle first. And of course I'm making a sunflower because that's what I do. I have lots of plans for these sunflowers. I need a lot coming up, so any chance I get, I'm making a sunflower. So when I'm trying to change colour and weaving and trying to hide in an end, I obviously need to start, because I'm a left-handed crocheter, I go in a clockwise direction. So I need to start before the tail. So here's my tail here, and I'm obviously going to create another tail with my colours change. So I like to insert probably maybe like 2 or so stitches ahead. Obviously if you're a right-handed crocheter, you would be crocheting in an anti-clockwise direction, so you would go sort of over here. So insert your hook. Again, I said like 2 stitches ahead, and when I change color, I just simply, there's my end, loop over and pull through, and that is because I hide my tails as I go. I need to do a double crochet chain 2 first to build my height. I'm not doing a tutorial on what stitch I'm using here, but I just want to show you. And then as I'm about to insert for my next, I go straight into that stitch again for what I'm doing. I actually want to put the yellow up as well. So you can see I've inserted there, and I want to pull the yellow across as if it's part of that brown where I've inserted. And I'll show you why. And I yarn over and I complete my stitch. You can see it's come across and it has started to weave itself in. So if I was to forget that tail, I'll show you what happens. Let's say I forgot to pick it up. So I don't know if you can hear that. Suki's barking outside, annoying the neighbours. Okay. Oh, let's just start again. Oh my goodness. Okay. So if I was to miss that or not pick it up, this is what would happen, which is what most people do. They don't worry about the tail. Got to kick it out of the way. There we go. He's out. He's not getting woven in. Whereas if I was to continue how I do, pull it across the work, insert underneath it, it's still going. You can actually see it. If I pull across, you can see it there. But because these stitches are so close together, you can't see it on the actual work. So normally you just continue along and see how I'm coming up to that other brown end. Sorry, that's the tight one because it's where the knot is. I'm actually pulling both across. If you've been watching closely, you've noticed I've stuffed up because I haven't been doing my chains. But anyway, I'm going to pull this apart afterwards. So as you can see, I'm coming up to that other brown tail with I'm almost finished on my gold tail. So I'm going to include that brown tail now, making sure they're both on top as I've pulled them across. And it has started to get weave into. So that's pretty much it. I'm just going to show you how to do it on a granny square because it's a little bit different. Still the same method of making sure it's pulled across. However, I don't do it until I run out of tail because of, you'd see it more because of the stitches. So I'm going to leave that one there, but obviously you just keep going along until you run out of tails. And then when you get to this point, when you turn it over so you can see that tail there is poking out, I just chop that off because it's already weaved in. And then you just sort of look for the ends, which I don't think any is showing through. Sometimes like the little fluffy bits to show through, like the end of an end where you've weaved it in completely, which I cannot see on here for the life of me. And in that case, you would just sort of lightly pull it through with a yarn needle and trim. But it's definitely not showing through on the front of this one at all. Yeah, so that's that. I'm gonna move on to the granny square now, because as I said, this one's gonna be a little bit different. So I've got my next color change. We're going with a bright pink. And when I do a granny square, I start in a corner. So again, I'm starting before my old tail, and I'm creating a new tail, but I'll show you why I start in a corner, because if I started in that middle section there, it wouldn't work for weaving in the current tail I'm about to create. So again, inserting my hook, pulling it all the way across that tail, continuing on with my loop, pulling it across again. Always make sure it's there. I do 2 chains in the corner, keep it pulled across. Rightio. So now it is weaved in right here. And the reason I wouldn't pull it across for my next one, I'll show you. I'm gonna continue. Normally I wouldn't do this. I'd kick it out and then I'd just trim it. But this is, I'll do my next lot of 3. And this is just my personal preference that I don't do this. So, because you can see, oh, hang on, let me just take my hook out. Give me more to play with. So when I go on to my next color next time, I'm going to pick up these loops and I'm going to leave a very obvious pink line across until I run out, and I really hate that look. I actually much prefer just the plain golden line. So yeah, I would just then trim that off when I'm fully done my work, obviously, because I'm not going to just pick up the scissors now. I would just trim that off, and that is enough of a weave in there. Obviously, when I keep going, I would collect this one and bring this one across because it is that gold color and it matches. So yeah, just keep going with that. That's the granny square. Now the next one, this one's a bit different. So this is if we were weaving in or sewing these two pieces together, like how I did for my mini bags. So I'm just, sorry, I bumped the camera. Grab my colour to stitch them together. And this is where you sort of have to think about things. So I've got a tail here and a tail here. If I was doing one side, like literally just going from here to here, I probably wouldn't have that tail there because I'm not going to get that far. So this is where you sort of have to risk it, and unfortunately you'd have to weave that one in later, but at least we can minimize it by one. So again, you would literally just insert your hook, change color how you would, slip stitch, and then going through the back rows. Sorry, I'm gonna have to, the camera's right in front of my face and I've been using the camera, but for this one, because I can't really see, it's always hard to find the first ones. So I've inserted through the first loop, but I'm going to wait until I go through the second hoop, because what I want to do is grab this tail and I want to push it in the middle, sort of hold on to it there. So it's in the middle there, you can see that down. Now I'm going to pick up my second loop, which is this one, I believe. There we go. Yarn over and slip stitch through. Then I want to do the same thing again, insert onto my next loop, just the first one, find that tail again and pull it up. So it's sort of like we're weaving a basket or something like that in between crocheting. Go into the second loop there and pull through. And you sort of just continue. Yeah, you sort of just continue this along, back down, in through, until you, either it gets too small, because obviously you want it up on this side. So let's say that was like, because I don't want to go all the way to the end. Let's say that was probably about that small and it's up. Next time it would go down, you probably wouldn't have enough for it to come back up again. And you definitely want it on this side because this is the bad side. This is the side where you're going to be trimming everything anyway. So you want it facing upwards. So yeah, then you just trim. And you can't even see it on the weave there. Obviously you can see it there, but you can't tell that it's weaved in at all. So that is it. This is a super quick video, as I said. If you have any questions, please let me know. But that is 3 different ways of minimizing your ends. So that was it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please give this video a thumbs up if you did like it. And while you're down there, hit the subscribe button to see more crochet tutorials and tips, as well as behind the scenes of my business and me going to markets, my online store, everything like that. I'm hoping to bring out way more videos in the future. Remember, if you have a friend who does crochet, maybe share this video with them. I'm pretty sure they'd enjoy the tip given. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.